So what problem does the blockchain solve? And why do I believe it's going to be bigger than the internet? Well, ultimately you've got to understand how our society has evolved. So essentially we operate with a system where everything is centrally controlled. Now this is database structures that guide our entire society. Now this is based on economics, this is based on politics, this is based on legal structure. All that information is centrally controlled on central databases. So if you think about your government, if they were going to update some information on you on records they've held centrally, how would you know that this update has taken place? In terms of manipulating this information, if they were going to change any information, how would you actually know that any change has taken place? Well, you don't. You just have to trust them. So under a decentralized system like the blockchain, think about it like this. Under our current system, we have one central computer that holds things. Yes, I know information gets duplicated and the backups get held, but ultimately it's held in one system. Where if it's decentralized, it's like the information is going to be updated on 1 million computers all instantaneously. And across that 1 million computers, everyone's updated with the same change to the data. This is a decentralized system. So what does this actually allow you to do? Well, when you start to think about it and explore the possibilities of this, now everything becomes endless in what it can actually change. Because right now, you've got people like bankers, lawyers, brokers, all involved in doing transactions, all involved in putting contracts together. Whereby if information is held on a decentralized system, then organizations, individuals, they'll be able to actually operate on the blockchain, putting contracts together with less friction, with less outside involvement. And because it's decentralized and everything's got a digital code, then nothing's going to disappear. Because once it's on the blockchain, you can't get rid of it. It's updated 1 million computers, it's updated 50 million computers, it's updated 5 billion computers instantaneously. Yes, there might have to be changes to our contract that's done, but that's reflected as well. But the original contract and the original information has been stored on the blockchain. So when you start to think about that capabilities of what the blockchain can do, suddenly you can see how it's going to change the world going forward. See, ultimately over the last 20 years, the internet has just changed everyone's lives. 20 years ago, older people never understood how to use the internet. It's a bit like people who used, like my mother-in-law, used to cut coupons out from magazines and go to the supermarket and it would get her 50 pence off or 50 cents off her washing powder. You show your coupon, you get 50 cents off. Now you get an email and you scan it in with a barcode. If you told someone 20 years ago that would happen, they wouldn't believe you. So now you're thinking about the blockchain and what it's about to do. Well, essentially the digital revolution is allowing us to drive a Porsche. But because of the centralized nature of the structures and the way we operate, we don't get to drive it at full speed. All we get to do is get stuck in rush hour traffic in LA with a vehicle that goes 220 miles an hour, but we're only driving 2 miles an hour because there's so much traffic around us. That might not be the best analogy, but what I'm trying to let you know is the technology is coming that's going to change how everything is structured. In the same way Satoshi Nakamoto invented Bitcoin, a transaction is charged anywhere in the world from A to B. Out with government control, out with banking, out with international charges. When you actually think about it, it's amazing. And now we're so used to Bitcoin, it's happening every day. People talk about Bitcoin, that's over $8,000 per Bitcoin. They talk about the financial benefit of owning Bitcoin. But if you think about the technology behind it, this ability to do a transaction on the blockchain from A to B instantaneously, without friction, with outside government control, and it actually saves you money, that is amazing. So what's the blockchain going to do? Well, you're going to apply this technology to every other industry sector in the world. And the minute you start to decentralize the holding of information and decentralizing the way we actually interact with one another, it's going to change the entire structure of the way our society has evolved over the last 6,000 years, from a central system to a decentralized system. And that's why it's so exciting. And that's the birth of blockchain, and why I believe it's going to be bigger than the internet. Thanks very much. Have a nice day.